Hi, welcome to Zines and Roger. This is a tutorial for a crochet slipper sock. The written pattern for this sock is over on my blog. The link is in the description notes below. There's loads more details there, so if I miss anything in this video tutorial, pop over there and just make sure you get all the information that you can. The sock is made in an Aran weight yarn and I use a 4.5mm hook. You will probably find it very useful to have a stitch marker for this project, and yet this is only half a sock. I'll come back to this one in a minute. To begin your sock, we're going to work from the toe up, and we are chaining 7. In the second chain from the hook, work your first UK double crochet, US single crochet, and do the same along, noting that I'm only working in the top loop of the chains, and that's because I'm going to work the other side in just a sec. So that's six stitches down that side, turn it over, turn it round, and then work 6 stitches down this edge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you've noticed that I've just crocheted over my end as I've gone, but you will probably want to crochet in a bit more, sew it in a bit more rather, when you've finished your sock. So what we've got all the way around is 12 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that forms the very front of the toe. What I'm going to do is, in the last stitch I made, is put my stitch marker so I know where I am. If I lose count, then I can find my way back home because I've put the stitch marker on. So for the first round, second round, we're starting in our first stitch, which is this one here, and it's just 1 UK double, US single crochet. And the next one you want to do 1 increase, and that's basically just doing 2 stitches in the same place, and then 1 in the next one and the one after, and then an increase. And then 1 here, 1 here, whoops, if I can actually get my hook in the right place, and then an increase in the next stitch, two here, so that's 1 and 1, a final increase, and then in the last stitch, let's take our stitch marker out and just do one stitch. And so now we have 16 stitches, and I'm going to put my stitch marker in that last stitch. Right, so you can see that is a teeny tiny tip of the toe. The increases are the things that shape the toe. So you've got increases down here and then down here on the other side as well. And there's always two stitches in between the increases on each row you increase. Okie dokie. So round 3. 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then an increase. And this time around, instead of doing 1, 2, we can do 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's DC in the next 4 stitches, or SC if you're using American terms. I think that was 4. Then you make an increase. Then you do 2 normal stitches, an increase, and then 4 normal stitches, an increase, and then 1 stitch in the last stitch. Put that stitch marker back in. So that was round 3. So round 4, it's very similar again, and this time instead of 2 or 4 stitches you do 6. So I've just done 1 single crochet in there, then I'm going to do my increase in the next stitch, and then 1, 2, 3. So I'm out of breath because I've just run downstairs to draw a picture of a foot. I'll show you in just a sec. So 6, 1 increase, 2 stitches, an increase, then 6 across, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, increase, and then 1 stitch where we've got that marker, which I will now move. Okie pokes, so now you have 24 stitches, I think. Yep, 24 stitches you've got. For round 5 you just do DCs, SCs all the way around. So that's round 5, so you've still got 24 stitches, we've made no increases. Round 6 you do the same as rounds 2, 3 and 4, apart from as you're counting along here you're doing 8 stitches on that side and 8 stitches on that side. Round 7 is just DCing around. Round 8 you're making 10 stitches across here and 10 stitches across here, and with your uniform increases here and here. I have just worked round 6, which is adding along with the increases and whatnot on either end, it's having 8 across here and 8 across here. And this is where I recommend you stop if you wanted to make a small sock. I'm going to go on and do round 7 and 8 to make a medium sock. Just make sure that you read the pattern and you'll see that there are 3 sizes that I've written up. Here is my rudimentary foot picture. Essentially, what you want to do is make it so it's not too far down your foot. This is your little toe bit. My little toe is I can't believe I'm doing it. My little toe goes like that, and then that's my big toe. and then it goes something like that. That's an accurate representation of my real toes. So it's just, so basically your toe bit is just sat across the tops of these ones. If you were to increase it out further and a bit wider, then that happens, and it would hang over your foot and be massive, so you don't want that to happen. So that's what it looks like when it's on your foot. And then for this bit, it's just sitting when where your toe starts to go up. Do you see what I mean? So this bit here is that, and it's sitting just at the mark where your toe dips upwards like that and stops being a toe and starts being a foot. So yeah, wonderful diagram there. But it's helpful to know, because it's so hard when you're following people's sock patterns to know if they're fitting correctly. So that's where we are with that. So if you want to make a small, I would recommend that you stop on round 6, then jump to the half treble rounds. As it is, so I've just done row 6, did I say? So I'm going to DC a round, and then I'm going to do row 8, which is an increase round. I have just finished round 8. So I now have 32 stitches all the way around. If I wanted to do large, I would DC around again, SC, and then do another increase round. So I had 38 stitches. 38, is that right? 36, sorry, can't do maths. And then work from there. As I'm doing a medium, I'm staying here. I'm going to start doing the main body of the foot. So continuing working in the round, I'm actually going to change colour. So I'm just going to undo a stitch because I'm going to change colour, and then I'll rework it whilst changing colour. So before I finish the stitch, I'm going to get my new yarn and just finish it off with the new yarn. And then without any faffing, just go straight into a half double crochet in the next stitch and all the way around. So it's yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over to pull through all 3 loops on the hook. I'll just crochet over the end for a few stitches. However, it's better if you sew them in afterwards, because sometimes they gather and create little buckles. You can see when they start, they poke out sometimes if you don't crochet over them really tightly. So I prefer to sew them in after I finish the sock. So just go round and around with your half doubles, or half treble if you're using UK speak. I've worked around and around in half trebles, half doubles, until I've reached my desired foot length. From this point here, the end of the toe, to here, which is where I want to start my heel, it's 12 centimetres, give or take. And actually, when I made the row below, it was something like 11.8. So almost 12 centimetres, but it's better to be slightly over than under. So I decided to do another round. So now it's something like 12.2. But these socks are quite forgiving because they're supposed to be sort of slouchy, comfy socks. That's okay. You work around and around and around until you get to the heel point, which is here on my splendid diagram. So what we've essentially done is gone around and around and around and around, and we're at this point now. So we just want to make a space for our heel before we carry on. Rather than have this join here on the top, it's a bit unsightly, so we don't want to have that on the top. If you're using all the same, it doesn't really matter, but I would recommend using a stitch marker if it is all the same colour. so you know where you are and where you need to stop. And if you follow this up here, it does actually twist slightly and land here at this point. And what I've done is just carried on crocheting until I've made 16 stitches, and I'm at the other side, which is where I'm going to start my heel. That means that this is now the top. If that is as clear as mud, just check out the pattern and it will tell you what you need to do. Starting here, I have got 32 stitches around because this is a medium sock. Half of 32 is 16. And so I've just done 16 across here. That's the first half of this round. And then the second half is creating the gap for the heel. And what I want to do is chain 16 and rejoin it with a half double crochet on the other edge, which will be the 17th stitch. So I'm just going to count along here until I've got, and then mark my 17th, mark where I want to work into next. I've chained 16, I'm going to miss 16 and work the next half stitch, half double, half treble, into where I marked. So yarn over, insert the hook into the stitch, yarn over, and then pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And then get rid of that. Continue to half treble, half double your way around until you get back to the chains. But at the moment what you've got is that, which will become the space for your heel. When you get to the chains, just do more half doubles into them. Do it into the top loop of the chains. That's the easiest way. So you're still doing half doubles, half trebles. So let me just show you what I've done so far with that chain. I've worked this many stitches and I'm just doing the last few. And then that was the last one, and I'm back at the normal stitches, and you just carry on seamlessly. And from here you can now go round and around and around again until you reach the length you want your socks to be. So do you want them to be just little ankly ones, or do you want them to go halfway up your leg? Really it depends on your patience and how much wool you've got. Having worked around a few more times, it's beginning to look a bit more sock-like, minus the heel. So just work around however many times you want to get the length of sock you would desire. And if you want to, you can change colour as well. And what I do is just choose somewhere that isn't going to be as visible. So maybe avoid doing the colour changes on the front. Just change colour halfway through a stitch. And then you can work a couple of rounds in some contrasting colours. For my other sock I did 2 rounds of each colour, but you can do whatever you like really. So you just keep going, and then again, as I said before, don't crochet over the ends, sew them in afterwards, it'll be a bit neater. So just carry on with your new colour, doing however many rounds as you like. Let's say you've done your contrasting colours, if you want to do them. When you decide that you want to do the top of your sock, just finish on your last half treble and then with a slip stitch into the next stitch, fasten off. And you want to join your new yarn. I like to join it by getting a slip knot on my hook and then joining it to any stitch but around where you fastened off. Chain 2, and that doesn't count as a stitch. Do 1 UK treble, US double in the same place. If you want to, just add a stitch marker into that so you know where to join at the end. And you need to have, well, presumably you'll have the correct number of stitches, which in this case is 32, but you need an even number of stitches. So just treble all the way around and then join to the first treble, ignore that 2 chain, to join it together. I've been around, I've got 32 UK trebles, US doubles, and I've joined to the top of the first stitch, not the chain 2. Chain 2, ignore that chain 2, and then do 1 front post treble. And then for the next stitch, 1 back post treble. And then you do that around, so you work around the front of the post and around the back of the next post. So you go front, back, front, back, front, back. Finish with a back post treble in the last stitch, and then join to the first stitch, which was a front post treble, ignoring that 2 chain, and that's the first row of FPBP. And then where you have a front post, put in a front post, where you have a back post, put in a back post, and so on. So you're basically repeating the round below. And then once you've done that, you can fasten off. It's time for the heel now. So attach your yarn to corner stitch of the heel and do a UK DC or SC. So you can then work into that stitch there. That's how I've attached it. And then work 32 stitches all the way around. So I'm going to do 16 down here and 16 across there. Go all the way around until you have 32 stitches. It's 32 because that's 32, and the heel is essentially a reverse of all the work you did for the toe. So the next round is very similar to round 8 in this instance because I'm making a medium. So I make 1 UK DC, 1 US SC in the next stitch, and then I do a decrease rather than an increase in the next stitch, and then do 10 normal stitches before doing a decrease, couple more stitches, decrease, 10 across, blah blah blah. So I'll show you how to do a decrease. So 1 normal stitch, then a decrease. Go into this first stitch of the decrease, yarn over and pull through, go into the next stitch of the decrease, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And that's how I do my decreases. And then it's 10 normal stitches across. another decrease, and then it's 2 stitches before another decrease, then 10 stitches, a decrease, and then 1 stitch. And then when you've done all that, you just go and do a normal round of DCs, SCs, and then another decrease round, etc. I'm on round 4, which is a decrease round, so 1 stitch and then a decrease, and then this time it's 8 across, and that is a reverse of row 6 from the toe. So you'll see a pattern that it is in fact going backwards. So this is row 4, and then you'd have row 5, which would be going around again in just normal stitches before doing the last, I think, 1, 2 rows of decreases. But it's all written as I've said, and I will show you then how to just finish it off for the final bit. I'm about to embark on my final round. At the moment I've got 16 stitches around here, and I want to go down to 12, so it's the last decrease row round. So 1 stitch first, then a decrease, and then just 2 stitches here where we once had 10, then 8, 6 and 4, a decrease, 2 stitches, a decrease, two stitches, a decrease, and then one last US single crochet, UK double crochet in the last stitch, and boom, that is it. And then give yourself a medium long tail and fasten off. It doesn't have to be mega long. I've probably made this that's a bit too long probably, because you only need to sew that bit. So that's what it looks like, and as you can see it's the same as the toe but backwards. You got yourself a little sock, a big sock, a medium-sized sock. Turn it inside out. Sew in your ends, obviously, but then you want to just stitch close that little opening. Oh, where's my tail? I can't remember what looked better, whether or not I did it the facing loops only, so I'm just going to cut that a bit shorter. I think I like to, it's slightly neater if you, rather than going through both the loops of a stitch, just go through the back loop of that one and the back loop of that one, I think. So leaving the facing stitches open. Let's try it. I'm fairly sure that's what I did last time, and it looked quite neat and tidy. So back loop of that one, and then back loops, and I'm kind of doing a mattress stitch here. I think that's what it's called. Oops. That should be all of them. And then just before I sew in that end, I just want to check and make sure it looks tidy. It's not the neatest, but that'll do. You can always undo it and work on it and make it tidier, but I do like having those back loops showing, the facing loops showing. I think that's quite tidy. You can do it differently. If you want to sew them all together, then that's fine. But essentially, that is your sock made. My camera battery is flashing, so I'm going to have to love you and leave you. If you enjoyed that video, then please do give me a thumbs up and subscribe, because more tutorials are on the way and I have lots of others too. And don't forget to check out my blog, zinesandroger.wordpress.com. I'm just going to sew that in a bit haphazardly. That's fine. Just don't poke it through to the right side. So voila, we have a sock. And don't forget that as you make it, you can always keep trying it on if it's for you. And if not, just remember it's not the amount of rows you've got, but how many centimetres or inches it is from here to here. And also, you know, that can go loads further up if you wanted to. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again, or you can hear me again, for another tutorial next time. Thank you. Bye.